Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Margaret and I am a homeschooling mom to an upcoming 5th grader. In today's video, I am going to be talking about why we are no longer using the Good and the Beautiful. And this is a very hard video for me to do because I absolutely love the Good and the Beautiful. We have been using the Good and the Beautiful since, I want to say, level 2. And level 2 worked amazing for my son. We loved it, didn't have no issues with it or anything like that. When we got to level 3, that's when things got to change. It was mainly the writing for us. The writing and the sentence diagramming. Now, sentence diagramming has been tricky, very tricky to explain to a child how to do it, and he just wasn't really grasping it. But if you told him, like, okay, tell me what is a noun, what is an adjective and a verb, and so on, he would be able to go ahead and tell me what. Now, once we got to the writing part, that's where it got tricky. Now, I felt where it didn't give enough direction. Like, it wasn't in detail, like how to start the writing, in my opinion. Now, when he went and tried to go ahead and write, it wasn't, like, he wasn't writing the way they told him to, I should say. And it just wasn't working for my son. So at that point, we did end up switching to Masterbooks. And when we did Masterbooks and it got to the writing portion, they explained step by step how to write a paragraph. And he did it no problem. But at that time, I felt like Masterbooks wasn't enough. But at that time, I didn't do the research that I needed to understand the way that Masterbooks did work. So at that point, I decided, okay, let me just go back to the Good and Beautiful. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe it'll work. And it turns out it just didn't. So we just kind of just took it day by day. I kept seeing, okay, writing gets better. It gets better. Just wait it out. Okay, so here comes 4th grade and we are doing level 4. So once we got to level 4 and I did both books. But on top of it, I added IEW, Shows Your Style, and I also added the grammar. Now, it was a lot, obviously, so I'm just going to go step by step. So before we started IEW Structure and Style, I was like, okay, you know what? Let's give the writing portion a try. Let's see if it does get better. Let's see if it'll help. So at first, the writing, he was able to do it. He was able to do the writing, no problem. And I'm like, okay, so maybe I'll alternate the writing, Then it came to a point, the writing, it just wasn't working. So I took out the writing. So then here it came, the sentence diagramming, and he understood some of it, but not all of it. So we did the fixed it grammar, and he enjoyed it. He did it, no problem. He understood it, okay? And okay, so we did. So at this point, the writing is gone and the grammar is gone from the Good and the Beautiful language arts. So we were doing the reading, and that actually worked pretty good, no problem. He did the comprehension. It was no problem, okay? So then here came the spelling, and I personally do not like the way the Good and the Beautiful does the spelling. We have tried to do it their way, and it just doesn't work for my son. So for a while, we tried to do The Good and the Beautiful Spelling Their Way. So between the two books, you're all going back and forth between them two. And I and my son did not like the going back and forth. We just didn't care for it. So we did do the spelling for a while, and it just wasn't working for my son. He needed more like the flashcard, the writing them out, the sentences, that sort of thing, like the traditional spelling. So again, at this point, we are at the grammar is gone, the writing is gone, the spelling is gone. So the only thing that we were using was the reading. So at this point, I was like, okay, what is the point of me using the Good and Beautiful? There is no point, really. I was just wasting money, basically. So when it came to deciding our curriculum for this year, I asked my son, okay, what did you want? And at first he was like, okay, I want the Good and the Beautiful, because he didn't know that there were other curriculums that we could go to or even go back. So let's talk math. Now he has done level 2, level 3, and level 4 of Simply Good and Beautiful Math. Level 2 and 3 were great for my son. He enjoyed it. He had the little box. He had no problems with it. It actually worked really good for him. Now, once it came to level 4, that's where it just went down. At first, we were really excited for the Good and the Beautiful's Math 4 because I had the videos, and I thought, okay, videos to teach the lesson, that is amazing. So at first, it worked. It worked wonderfully. That's because it's a review, obviously, for the first few lessons. And we're like, okay, this is amazing. It's working, you know, we were really enjoying it. Now, let's get to the part, I want to say, up until that first unit review. That's when we started to see him struggle. And I was like, okay, what is going on here? You were getting it, you know, and if he doesn't understand it, you know, that is okay, you know, that's fine. So we went back up to a point when he stopped understanding it, and I tried teaching him the lesson. With me teaching him the lesson, he was starting to get it. Then we went back to the videos, and it went back to the same thing where he just wasn't grasping it. So then I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's do it this way. Let's do the videos, and let's do it me teaching it to you and see how that goes. For a while, that worked. And he was getting it, and then some of it he wasn't getting it, you know? So it was like in between. And he did great for level 3, but I don't know, once the videos kicked in, it just wasn't where he wasn't understanding it completely. So it wasn't that the videos were the problem, because he has done the teaching textbook and he has understood it. He did amazing with teaching textbooks, but he just wanted like an actual pen and paper type math, okay? And so I know the videos weren't the problem. So I decided, I'm like, okay, you know what, let's pause right here. And I decided to ask him, okay, what is it that you're not getting? So he told me that when the teacher, Cachet, did the videos, she wasn't explaining it enough for him to comprehend what he had to do and what he was learning. At this point, the year is practically over, and we barely got to do math from the Good and the Beautiful. We were lucky if we even made it to Unit 2. And so I was like, okay, you know what? We're just gonna have to stop here because you're just struggling. There were so many tears. It just wasn't worth it to put him in through that. So I had already had master books, and they are a mastery with review. And so I'm like, you know what? Let's just keep going with master books. I'll see where we need to put you and that sort of thing. So we were doing that, and I had already had a teaching textbook subscription for that year, but we weren't really using it as much because math was just really struggling for us. So we ended up the remaining of the year doing master books and teaching textbooks together, and that's what we just landed on doing. It worked as fast as it possibly could. I wish I could have switched my son a lot sooner. I kept trying and trying, but unfortunately it just didn't work for my son anymore. I really do wish that the Good and Beautiful did work for my son. It is a great curriculum. Please do not watch this video and think I'm bashing this curriculum, because it is not a bad curriculum. It is an amazing curriculum. It actually helped my son with his reading so much, so that's why it was so hard for me to leave the Good and the Beautiful. If the Good and Beautiful does work for you, that is amazing, and I'm so happy that it does. But this is just me explaining on why it didn't work for us, and I wish that maybe someday down the line that we'll go back to it, because again, it is an amazing curriculum, but right now it just doesn't work. And I really do love it. I'm just gonna keep saying it. I really do love it. If you do like content like this, go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and hit that red notification bell for more videos. But that is the reason why we are no longer using the Good and Beautiful. But until next time, I will talk to you guys later.